Hey everyone, in this video we're going to show you how to draw a pine tree. So grab your pencils and let's get drawing. So first things first, what we're going to do is just start with kind of a middle of the road, like a 3B pencil. And we're going to use this nice new drawing book that I got. So we're going to do a nice drawing of a pine tree. So what I like to do is just establish kind of where your kind of trunk of the tree will go, kind of start from the top to bottom. And you're obviously going to be thinner at the top, and you're going to just get a little bit wider as you go down. Now, what you need to know is that this isn't that critical because we're going to be drawing all the leaves all over the place here. So this is sort of just more of a reference for you. You will see the base of the trunk probably down here. So what I like to do is just kind of, the upper is more of a guide, and the lower is more visible. So this will go right up, and you kind of, you can even just go like that, okay? So the base is kind of like, you know, typically like a tree base kind of goes out like that. Now, if you want, you can probably get some, just a bit of darker shading on the left, maybe the light source is on the right, and just use your smudge technique with a hit like that, okay? Now what you want to do is just think about where the branches will go. You usually have a buffer at the base. You might have a branch just over here. You might have a branch coming out at you like this. And we're going to repeat this process as we go up. Now, this isn't an exact kind of Christmas tree-like thing. This is more of an egg-shaped tree in this example. So what I'll do is I'll draw these lines all the way up, and then we'll fill the branches. So I'm going to speed this part of the drawing up. So follow along. You'll watch this come together, and then we'll continue with the details, okay? So hang with me. I'll be right back. You could see how quickly we put that together, and essentially what we did here was we just put different branches of different angles. Some of them come towards you, some of them come, you know, up, some of them go away. So all of these different angles is what really makes this tree look realistic, and you'll see it come together shortly. So that's essentially what you need to start this process. Now, the question becomes, what do we do next? Like, how do we get this just looking a little more realistic? Well, for each branch, what you probably want to do is just get a little bit of these pine needles kind of on there. So you might want to get just a slightly darker pencil, and you might want to just add that on, and you can also just improve your shading on the bark of the tree as well. So what you want to do is you kind of want to get these lines, and when I do these lines, they're really just hitting the page just kind of again and again, and this is really what's going to be tedious of this in this drawing, is really just getting all of these kind of lines done. So what you need to do is just kind of, you could either decide to go slow and methodical, or kind of quick, kind of hit the line and just kind of do that and just repeat. You're just basically going away from the line. So for every like branch that you have, you just want to kind of go away, and just repeat. So this is really interesting because you might find this pretty tedious, and most people would. This branch might just want to curve up a little bit as well. So I think what we could do is we could also speed this part of the drawing up. This part is kind of interesting because it takes a lot of time. So what I might do is actually speed this entire part up. Hopefully you're following along. It might be worth noting, though, that on your branches, you might have little sub-branches as well. So why don't I speed this part of the drawing up, and I'll be back. So hang with me and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. I basically did the foundation of this tree, and you can see it's starting to come together, but it definitely needs a little bit more work. It looks a little bit empty here. Like I said, this isn't going to be a classic Christmas tree. It's going to be more of like an egg shape, but let's just discuss this. Let's discuss how this can be made to look a little bit better. So some of these branches kind of look like this one should be coming towards you. This one is coming to the side. This is coming up, up and towards. Like you can see the different angles of these branches. So the question is, how do we kind of make it look more full in the middle? Well, this one's pretty easy. What you might want to do is just start to add additional branches in the middle and just try to get some more pine needles on those branches in the middle. So you can kind of repeat that, right? You can kind of put one over here. This is empty, so let's put this one going back and away, so kind of like that. And just add a couple extra branches. So I'll walk you through this part. I'm not going to just jump and speed this part up. I just sped the last part up. Over here, let's get another branch over here. And let's put some pine needles like that. And this one could become a little bit longer as well. So we're just going to repeat this process here. And just repeat. Hopefully you're following along. I don't know if you're drawing or watching. Either way, let me know. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Drop us a comment below. Are you an avid drawer? Are you just trying to learn? We love hearing from our subscribers. And if you haven't already, just give us a little like or subscribe. That's always great to do as well. But you can see how this is starting to look a little more full as well. And it's just about repeating this, right? So get your branches drawn and draw the pine needles as they come out like this. That's all you have to do, is you just have to repeat this process kind of again and again. What you essentially want is the middle to look a lot more fuller. And you can actually do this just by continuing to do this process like this. You can already see that this is starting to look a little more full in the center. I think over here, we're definitely going to need some more branching done. And you can actually do that by just getting a couple branches like that, and then obviously fill in the pine needles, right? I mean, we're all familiar with the concept of a pine tree and that they have pine needles. The question is, how do we make them look realistic? Just follow the branch and draw the pine needles going away, and just repeat, and just repeat. Sometimes it takes a little more time and patience and all of that stuff, but you might want to just repeat this process like again and again. So yeah, you could kind of see this starting to come together. If you want, you can smudge in the middle to just give it a little more kind of darkness and make it look a little more realistic. If you have any kind of light spots, like over there, that was a very light spot. You might find yourself like filling that with just an extra branch. That's probably a really good idea. So you could see this starting to come together. Let's see. Over here, I think we need another branch, and this one could come out. This one could come down and away. So you can kind of see the branch comes out from here and just kind of 1, 2, like that. Just draw your pine needles like this. You might want to make sure you're using a very sharp pencil, because some of the best pine needles that are drawn are actually from a very sharp pencil. You can see how nice that looks. Give your pencil a quick sharpen if you ever need to during this process. It'll probably help your drawing and make it look as realistic as possible. And the funny thing is, like, all these branches in all these different directions is really what kind of makes this drawing come together, isn't it? It's almost like it looks messy, but not messy at the same time. When you're drawing it, you might find, hey, this looks really messy, and this just looks kind of, all over the place. But that's not actually the fact. It's really about just making sure that when you're done the drawing, it definitely looks a lot more put together and realistic, and that's kind of what you want to go for here. So that's what I'm doing. You can kind of see that this is coming together that way. Okay, and you might want to say, hey, like, let's just keep this going over here, and you can do that as well, and make sure your top is nice and full, and get a couple more branches at the top. So you know what? I'll speed this up for another few minutes while I, quote unquote, finish off some of the branches, and you'll see this come together a little quicker. So sit tight, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. I did a lot of the structure here, and now the last part of this drawing is really just getting some shading in the middle. So some of the best things you can do to fill this in is just get a nice dark pencil and just actually draw some, what I'm calling kind of faint shadow lines towards the middle of this tree. So what you can do is just try to start on the bark of the tree and just get lines going out like this. Now, it may seem a little obscure and kind of like random to do this, but what you're trying to do is just create some shadows and some darkening spots towards the middle. It'll just become a lot more full and look a lot more realistic if you can do this. So all you have to do is really just go from the middle and go out, and you'll see that this is how you fill the middle. It's hard to do because you're trying to create a fillable space towards the middle of the tree, and this is essentially how you can do that. So you might want to just repeat this process like I'm doing right here. And as you get towards the top of your tree, you can kind of see how this starts to look a little more put together, right? So you can put different angles. You can go, some are down and away, some are up, some are towards you. Every branch kind of goes in a bit of a different direction here. And I would say that's how you could kind of like complete this. When you look at this from farther away, you definitely want to have a bit more of a darker piece in the middle. So, you know, we just look at this and we kind of ask ourselves, like, is this essentially where we're at? Are we good with this? Is there anything else that needs to be filled in? I think there was a spot right there and there's a spot right here that could definitely be filled in. I'm quickly going to do that. This is a branch right there. Sorry, a spot that could be turned into a branch. And we can see that there. All that being said, this could be extended. And you know what? The great thing about drawing a tree, and in this case, you know, this is kind of a pine tree. Pine trees are kind of natural, and the way that they move is kind of the way that you can draw them. You want to draw more natural and abstract trees, you can. If you want to draw a more uniform tree, you can do that too. So this is my version of a pine tree. I used a few different ranges of pencils, so hopefully you followed along. I actually used the Staedtler blue pencils, so hopefully you enjoy that as well. And all being said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.